talk to any lawyers in this community, doesn't matter if they're prosecutors, defense counsel, or they represent plaintiffs or civil defendants, doesn't matter if they're conservative or liberal, they all have the highest regard and esteem for Justice Bedsworth. So please join me in welcoming him and thank him for being here today.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Hotel California. While they may have additional meeting today, those are the words with which I have opened every session of court for 23 years. A fact that had no particular significance to me until I began preparing these remarks and realized that it was longer than many of you have been on the planet. No matter how difficult the rest of your first week is, I assure you it will not be tougher than my attempt to recover from that realization. While it is painful for me to admit it, I have been practicing law in this county for almost 40 years. It is inconceivable to me that there is that much time between my entry into the legal profession and yours. But my youngest child, who began law school Monday, assures me that is the case. I mention my daughter Caitlin because I am not clever enough to imagine a better way of expressing to you my confidence that you have made a wise career choice. I hope that you'll find reassuring the fact that I have encouraged my own child to follow the same path. But my own experience of a life in the law, a rich, rewarding, satisfying, and altogether delightful life, is not universal. There are people who make a living conducting seminars entitled 101 Things to Do with Your Law Degree Besides Practicing Law. Not everyone is happy in this profession, and some are unhappy enough to pay money to try and find a way out of it. There are lots of different reasons for dissatisfaction with a career in the law, and I don't pretend to have antidotes for all of them. I don't even pretend to know what they all are. But I know one way to guarantee an unhappy experience, and this, your first day of law school, seems a good time to warn you away from it. The simple fact is that there are two ways to practice law. You can practice law as an honest and ethical advocate, or you can practice it as a hired gun. If you choose to practice it honestly and ethically, if you are courteous and honorable and fair, you will sleep well at night, your peers will respect you, you will win a lot of cases, and you will win a lot of friends. You will end up, like the people introduced to you today, and the people who will teach you at this institution, pleased with your life in the law, satisfied that you have done the right thing. Trust me, you will end up, as I have, without regrets. If, on the other hand, you choose to practice it as a hired gun, doing or saying whatever you think advances your client's position, regardless of the demands of honesty and integrity, you will reap none of these rewards, and you will spend your days looking over your shoulder, wondering when the day will come that comes to all hired guns, the day when you run up against somebody faster, tougher, and meaner. Now, at this point in your career, that may sound rather tautological to you. It doesn't seem especially profound, does it? I mean, I'm essentially saying you can practice law ethically and be happy, or you can be a jerk and be unhappy. Hardly seems necessary to bring in an appellate court justice to say that. But when you start to practice, you will find out it takes courage and commitment to practice ethically and courteously. You will find, much to my chagrin, that the profession I love so much is rife with discourtesy, awash in unkindness. It has become a place in which fairness and civility are too often confused with weakness, one in which many of your fellow practitioners will try to cover up their lack of knowledge and diligence by affecting cynicism. They will act like everyone lies, cheats, and steals. And some of them will try to get you to practice that way. I believe, Dean Chemerinsky believes, the faculty of this law school believes, that it's important that you hear someone say right at the outset, on your first day, before you have so much as finished buying your books, that is not the way to practice law. Not if you want to do it with honor and self-respect. Not if you want to be proud and happy 40 years down the road. We know it will take courage. When you're a new lawyer trying to suss out what is acceptable conduct and what is unacceptable conduct, how you distinguish good practice from sharp practice, you are likely to encounter situations in which you are tempted or urged by someone else to disregard ethics in favor of expediency, to put a favorable result for your client ahead of your self-respect and your respect for the judicial process. It may not be easy to resist that temptation. So we want you to remember that we told you on your very first day of law school, before you knew an intentional tort from a Linzer tort, that such a moment would come. And we told you to resist it at all costs. We want you to remember that we made you take an oath to practice ethically and honorably. When that moment of truth comes, we want you to recognize it and remember we told you it would take courage to deal with it, and we want you at that moment to be able to draw on the experience of people who have practiced a lot longer than you, people who have positions of power and respect and have loved their lives in the law, and who told you that you don't have to sacrifice honor to get there. You can do the right thing and be successful. And anyone who tells you different is a liar. Civility is more than good manners. It is a thoroughgoing and unstinting commitment to practice law with courage, courtesy, honor, and integrity. If this is to be a great law school, if you are to be a great generation of lawyers, nothing less will do. This is not a matter of opinion. This is not a suggestion. This is the only way graduates of this institution will practice law. So in a moment, I will ask you all to stand and raise your right hand, and I will administer the civility oath. And you, having heard what you are committing yourself to, having heard me reach the end of the oath and ask you if you promise to spend the rest of your life living up to the principles of the oath, will, I hope, answer with a genuine and resounding I do. And I want it loud. Shout it. I mean, this is the rest of your life. If you can't get excited about this, there's something wrong here. So I want it loud. I want it so loud that you will still be able to hear yourself making this promise, not just when that moment of truth comes, but 40 years from now, when you are privileged, as I have been today, to stand before the hope and the future of the profession and try to help them to a life as thoroughly and unconscionably satisfying as mine is. So stand up.